much easier composition to pull off. I think that Vamos only really has a chance if Era 404 finds an early blood kill in that mid lane with Clawhood.
I agree. I think this is a low-cost comp, right? You're always ready to fight at the drop of the dime. So SRG, if they get active, Vamos is going to suffer.
Well, Vamos, they do not want to be suffering in this position. This is a new generation that has already broken expectations by making it this far. They want to be able to bring it all the way. And already getting poked out heavily in that mid lane. Stormy loves this hero.
Yeah, no, it's really difficult. This is one of the few combinations that is just like, now what's lacking in Stormy's quote-unquote early game damage, Yums compensates for them while still providing enough peel to allow the butterfly stacks to max out. So it's just, what do? You just pray.
And Ziggy cannot walk up to help clear the wave, right? You have Lantern stack, they get jumped on by the Hilda. There's a Little Wonder contest. The SRG not really prioritizing it. It's fine.
They are delaying him pretty long here. I don't think they'll be able to. Yeah, this makes sure that the mid lane still doesn't have control over the lane while maintaining protection over the top side of the map camps.
Oh, ZK.
Hold on.
I mean, actually spots out a potential gank there. Nero 4-4 doing the same on the Stormy.
Beautiful.
So good exchange.
Ends up being a pretty solid trade of HP there for Team Vamos. Losing HP on your roamer. Very worth it trading for the mid lane. Though it looks like Stormy is going to stick around anyway. He is holding that Brave Smite, so he can still heal back up. Clawhood is going to try and force him to go home.
Honestly, Clawhood should walk up and try to die for this. And Stormy, he needs to know to back off. He knows that right now, Era 404 is currently on that purple buff and could jump at any time. So really risky stuff, but also trying to deny Stormy as much EXP as possible.
What I want to see now from Vamos as well is going to be a little bit more attention towards that EXP side. Looks like Sabat is currently out farming the waves, but once we see that level 4 come in, we know how quickly Paquito is able to clear. After this first turtle, Vamos might want to affect that side a little bit more to ensure that Sabat can be a bigger threat.
Then lane swap just to get the level 4 for that solo lane. As Nero 4-4 is going to try and poke Yums out. Yums will slowly heal back up with the passive. And this delays enough time for the rest of SRG to start participating as well. Yumi is just going to jump Arrow 4-4 and force him away. And he flickers to safety. Where's Mustafa? He does the same, but Cram again finds the knockout punch. And that's going to be Turtle and 2 kills for SRG.
Well, that's not good. That's basically the worst start you could have. And Nako is even going to have to flicker away. Meanwhile, RWM...
Come on, Dad, go! Didn't want to. And Stormy
just aura farming.
Yeah, that one definitely was an ego check for sure. But this is probably the worst start that we're going to see coming in from Vamos there. Like Clawhood alongside with Supot. I wanted to say that Supot was coming out of the lane even, but apparently he wasn't. He was able to get the river crabs though, which at least allowed him to hit level 4 in the mid lane.
An attempt onto Yum's life. They have enough. Yum's healing up with the passive, but the auto attacks more than enough. Arrow 4-4 gets a return.
At least they get something there, but Vamos definitely still behind because of this. The reason why Sapat wasn't even in lane is because they pulled him out of lane early. They actually gave a wave to Clawhood to hit level 4 so that the Freya could join the fight first, but not sure if that's really the most worth it. You want Sapat to be present and relevant.
I think they should have regrouped afterwards, right? They were trying to hold too much ground with not enough manpower, and I think the logistic battle here is, more important than just making the right decisions.
That makes sense to me right now. SRG holding the majority of the draft votes, which I think we have to agree with. Like you guys already pointed out, easier to execute. Clawhood had the flicker there. So SRG already positing around this top river, even with the turtle 30 seconds away.
You know who likes flickerless targets? Cram, man.
No, this is good from the side of Vamos right now. They're trying to read into the rotations of SRG. They're not wasting too much time of just responding to them. They're actually getting something back. And this is what I've wanted to see for a while now in the early game.
Arrow 4-4.
He might die.
He might die.
Oh, good block.
He's gonna body block it. It should be more than enough. But Cram, he's just gonna wail on Arrow 4-4. The cooldown comes back up on time. So Era gets out. ZK now arrives, but spotted out.
Okay, good job there of keeping composure and honestly playing with fire, but this is what...
Oh, wrong direction. ZK, he might go down. There's a Sky Pierce on innocent side. Gets his first stack.
Unlucky. Wasn't able to execute it in the right direction. Even so, this means that Slango Red Giants will now start taking everything.
Starting with Yums just invading jungle, forcing out the early retreat just to secure the buff. This is going to be a free turtle for Skies, and we are looking at a very early lead with Cram picking up the killing spree.
Oh.
Another interception, and now a full-on dive from Flocko. Flocko and ZK both are going to go down. The Valkyrie's Descent does join in. ZK does not escape from that, but Subpot and Nako try to find the return. Some guys backtracks with the Blaze Surge, and now they stagger Subpot. He cannot get close to the Sky Prince. SRG finds 4 bodies.
Would it be a little early of me to say that this game might be over?
It's looking kind of doomed. I mean, look at this decision right here. Both Natco alongside with Saban decided, you know what? After losing 3 members, it's not enough. Let's throw 2 more bodies into the mix, right? And they wanted to get something back here. Unfortunately, SRG just played a little bit better, but they shouldn't have been here in the first place. Natco should have just stayed topside, and in this case, Subpot now has become this, unfortunately, the secondary win condition. He should have picked up the mid and bottom wave instead of joining the fight.
Yeah, Subpot's being heavily affected by losing 1 wave EXP early on for that first turtle and then not really being able to translate it to anything. This is one of their main front lines. This is the Freya that was delaying fights for them in the previous game and no longer is capable of doing so. A 4,000 gold lead for SRG in 6 minutes. And we already talked about how SRG is quite comfortable with being behind in gold. If they're ahead, it's even worse.
Yeah, they're not one of those few teams that you want to get this far ahead. But now that we're already here, it's just the reality they got to live in. Right now, I think that Team Vamos just needs to minimize the bleeding, right? Make sure, just go back to farming those waves. Sure, you come in, you invade us, we can't get anything back, whatever. We can't do much about it. They're waiting for the upcoming Lord. These turtles are uncontestable, and people need items before they're relevant.
And the thing about playing a Harley when there's a Puck on the other side is that if he takes control of one lane, that's one side of the jungle inaccessible.
Uh-oh.
And Nako, I don't know how he can outplay this. I think he's guaranteed to die.
He just has to die here. He just has to buy time, die, so the rest of the team might be able to get turtle or even getting bot side.
Dang, can I just say that 2 Sky Piercers on the SRG side. Innocent and Sakai. Cram is fine.
Cram already doing his job of delaying the turtle take. Vamos tried to see if they could go for a blitz, but the Paquito is already there. SRG is so ahead that they can afford to split their resources and still achieve multiple things on the map at once. This is where the Red Giants are strongest, and I don't see Vamos turning this.
It's hard. It's hard. Not especially when Yums is at this stage of the game where he is uncontested, unstoppable with Cram to fall back to. It's a recipe for disaster. We've seen this way too many times in way too many playoffs.
Look at where Cram is standing.
Uh-huh.
It's impossible to walk up.
Yeah, let's actually look at his build real quick. Let's see what he's opting to go for. Is he extra greedy this time? Nah, he's not extra greedy.
I think after all this, we can quite confidently say Paquito cannot be allowed through the draft. Unfortunately, the Freya is not working as a solution here. And Vamos is gonna need to learn that the hard way, because if they're not able to win this one, they will be 1 match off of losing that championship. Oh, the damage!
Sabat, please, movement. We cannot be colliding into these walls, man. It's just up or down, up or down.
I'll tell you the craziest thing. Vamos knows this feeling, this exact feeling. They get Paquito 4 games in a row and they clean swept the Grand Gold Bracket Finals. Here we are, giving Paquito to SRG the 2nd time.
I mean, maybe they've learned something from this, but that is such a ridiculous lead to have as an EXP laner, right? 2 levels ahead. You're basically 2K. Like, Cram, do what you want, but nobody's gonna put you in cuffs at this point. Nobody can.
Even ZK was like, this guy's not worth kicking.
Yeah.
I kick him back, he's gonna kill my backline.
He actually will. This man is capable of 1v3, 1v4 quite comfortably at this point.
Oh.
And then you consider that his teammates have Sky Piercers with stacks.
Yep, they're gonna make an attempt in the mid lane. That's a kick onto Sakai's, but wow, Lord ZK, he is gone. The Nako with the dive, you just hold the front here, comes Cram back in it again, and Sakai's walks away with another kill.
What are we doing? What are we doing here? We need to be going on the same targets, Vamos. Let's pull up the instant replay. We have one, because again, like ZK, he is getting good targets. Don't get me wrong, he is finding great targets. It's just that everybody has a different idea of where they need to be, and unfortunately, we need to kind of strip line it. You're not that guy yet. You're 7K down.
I for sure thought Sakai was dead.
Yeah, me too. As 100% a kill, that is 100% a shutdown. That would be a pretty nice goal swing for you. And Vamos just wasn't able to capitalize. I'm honestly really concerned at this point that they may be losing more composure than we had hoped for here in the grand finals. What do they need to do at this point?
I'm trying to think what is a viable solution. Stormy's kind of hard to catch at this stage, right? But arguably, I think they have to just kind of let...
Oh my goodness.
Good lord. That's the art of it. And return another kick on the Crab. Crab is going to dive Clockhood.
Oh my, he's not punished.
Crab is still alive.
Oh, this hero is busted.
They needed at least a 2-item Clockhood. Until that point, they just don't have enough damage to get through anybody here, and the fights just don't drag out long enough as well.
The Lord is still not here, but SRG might just give us the fastest game in the grand finals thus far. Era 4 for Nako. You gotta wait for Zeke, but Era is gonna get pulled back. That's gonna be used on top of him. Era is straight up dead. Zeke back in action with Nako. Cram zoning all of them out. And that's 2 inhibs gone for Vamos. The third one destined to fall. And it seems like defeat is an inevitability at this point. Sapat with a dive in. Where did his elbow? Oh, good. Nice Sapat. Monster kill for the Flint. Another lift off Clockhood. Doesn't do any impact. Nako gets a shutdown, but it's a bit too late. Selangor Red Giants now 3-0 and are ever so close to the 5th star.
Yep. They can't break
your eyes, children. This is not safe for you. You are not old enough to witness the one-sided slaughter that game was.
They got him figured out. They've got Vamos figured out, and I don't think that there's enough adjustments to make it work. It's either they go back to the traditional style of play, which I think the SRG is way more comfortable in dealing with, or we get this. Because so far, that mid lane needs some form of control. They really need it. Because Yums and Stormy are playing peak right now.
I mean, that was like their strongest suit in the first 2 games, and we didn't see that in Game 3, right? Felt like they've lost that flair, but Paquito has to go.
He has to.
In best case scenario, you get Paquito. If you don't get it, get rid of it.
Thing is, like in Game 2, Vamos had the opportunity to get Paquito first. They chose not to. They went for the Freya as a counter. If they decide to adjust at this point, I feel like SRG will already be 1 step ahead. If Vamos goes back to blue side now, I'm pretty sure Paquito's getting banned.
I think that what's going to happen is they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to go first pick Paquito, and then immediately we're going to see Claude Freya on the opposite side. Like, it feels inevitable at this point because what SRG knows for a fact is that their side lanes are stronger, and they can bank on it. And that's now we can just double down on making sure that Sagais is having a good old time when you have a mid lane that has so much control over a map with expanding rivers.
Yeah, like MLBB is supposed to be a 5v5 game. For Vamos, it's 5v5, but for SRG, no, you're just focusing on 3 people.
The mid trio of SRG has always been one of the pride of Malaysia. And the Sky Prince among them claiming MVP for game number 3 on a very impressive Suyo performance. Bit of a feels bad for Error 404 because he would definitely got an MVP if they won game 2, but you gotta be able to finish. And right now, the synergy and coordination from SRG is reaching a high.
They're getting a little nervous, and you can tell by their style of play, right? They're losing a lot of confidence, and they're trying to salvage every single scenario. At a certain threshold of gold deficit, there's no saving it when you're 2 levels down. You just don't have the base damages. I'm hoping that Vamos, at least, if they're willing to brawl, again, I like the fact that, hey, if they're taking one side of the map, we need to start going on and doing something on the opposite side.
Just look at the scores, look at the items, how skewed it is. 16 kills to 2. Innocent is 6-0 from just like showing up at fights and getting 3 kills.
You know you're kind of screwed when the enemy decides to buy 2 Sky Pierces.
Yeah, there's no going around that.
Well, normally you would say, this is Dark System.
I would, but like
in this case...
But in this case, it's like you're already 10k ahead. Like you came in 9-2 by like 8 minutes. That the game's kind of done at that point. Like, the only person who could really save this game was Clockhood, but he needs so much gold.
It doesn't help that most of the Vamos heroes are made of paper, right? Like Clint, Clint and Suyo, they blow through health bar so fast.
It's too much. It's too much to deal with. And of course, Carry going to be the Cram, of course, because Innocent just can't get into the fights as effectively as Cram.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to, right? It's all right. But even so, it is still a pretty tough game. And I think, honestly, Yums made it near impossible for Vamos to kind of break away and find that comeback mechanic.
The draft from SRG continues to be just really, really complete. They understand how these players tick. They've got so much experience fielding most of MLBB's roster that they know what needs to be pulled out at the right time. And I am now honestly really, really concerned. I feel like Vamos has burnt out a little bit. The loss in game 2 may have taken too much out of them.
And that's the biggest worry, right? One of the biggest tests that Vamos have to overcome, because if this is what causes a burnout in Paris, it's only going to get tougher. And I think for Vamos, again, like you said, you can't shake off this Hilda. Like Yums is stalking them left, right, and center, and it doesn't help that Sapat has no control over his lane at all. Man ends the game with only 2 core items, man. This is such a sad Freya game. And because of that, Cram gets not just get a level lead, he walks into your jungle and he intercepts Ares rotation. This game was so unplayable.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this. From 6 minutes all the way to like nearly 11 minutes-ish. Like he spent 5 minutes getting a War Axe after he was done with the Golden Staff and as well as the Tough Boots. Like that's how far gone this game is done for. And I think that Vamos, if you are going to play a composition like Natko and Sapat, both on like high scaling style of side lanes, maybe, play for your win condition. Air 4-4, he's missed his timing in the early game now that he hasn't found any snowball leads. So you gotta play for Natko or Sapat at that point.
And the risky thing about this lineup from Vamos is that basically every hero is a core in some way, except Cho, of course. But that means that every one of them needs farm. You ideally need to have a really, really good early game, and then this team comp works because it just snowballs you so hard. But if it's not working, you just have a bunch of squishy heroes that don't output enough damage compared to SRG. And because they're playing Cho and the Freya is behind, there's no proper front line like the glue before that can just delay and let them reset in fights. SRG is literally running past them, taking out Clockhood when the fight starts in the back line because there's nothing to stop them.
Have you ever seen a Jusin out in an RWM just to pick up a Yeef?
Yep.
Yep.
This game is that game.
Oh boy, without it, would not have been able to experience it. I'm trying to figure out a way for like Vamos to actually adjust into this, right? Like the laning phase, actually not the worst from Sapat this time around. They fixed a lot of those mistakes. Natko as well is coming out a little bit better, but not enough. So they gotta make some sacrifices in the draft. Like they cannot keep trying to go to get everything.
The disparity is quite jarring when you look at the series so far, right? And it really does put into perspective when teams talk about they want to face SRG at their peak and they don't consider any wins over SRG with Uni in the XP lane as a true win. Because right now, SRG, a wild oil machine, we thought it's going to take them a game or two to, figure things out, but I think they came in here hot.
They came in extremely hot as well. Not to mention that at least for like game number 1, you could definitely see that they were like trying to get information more than anything else, right? A lot of the stutter steppings, a lot of the like, you know what, I'll just throw the ability in awkward bushes, not typical bushes, just to check.
I think what needs to happen now going forward is going to be just a reversion. I think Vamos has to go back to basics. It's a little bit similar to what they did in game 2, where they grabbed heroes that they felt comfortable with, but clean it up in the draft slightly, right? I think that, unfortunately, Sapat's Freya is leaving a bit to be desired. Put him back on Playmaker. If he doesn't get the Paquito, give him the Arlet. Even if it's not the best matchup, at least he can get things done on the map. Have Zkeep on a proper setter. I think that he's okay on show. It's just that maybe a little panicked under this situation. That's why he made mistakes like that. And it's tough when you are the main front line and the main catcher, right? You just gotta fix up on those things. But we do have another PCU. That's a lot higher than the last time we checked in. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost double it.
Hey, people are waking up and they're tuning in.
Look, we just need like 2 more games and we break the record.
Woo! That'll be the goal.
We need Vamos to win the next one. That's all we ask for. But all we ask from you guys is to continue watching and redeeming that code at the bottom. That is a reward for you guys for continuing to stick with us. And if you guys are eager for